With Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gaudin. And, Charles, you look at this Eagles team as they interplay here. It's been a lost first month of the season, that's for sure, as they come in with an 0-4 record.
And the window's not shut on them, though. They still have a chance to make something out of this season, but it has to start right now.
Meanwhile, for our visitors, the Seahawks. And with a marker down, he's up just past the 25-yard line, but I think they're going to be going backwards. Let's check the call. They've got to be pleased with the start to this season, obviously. A perfect 3-0.
3 good quality wins, too. It's got people in the locker room excited. They're thinking that this could be their year.
Automatic first down.
Throwing now, Wilson on first down. Blitz coming, and down he goes. Jordan Hicks, tough to handle on that blitz. He gets him for a loss of 5.
Well, that play was the very definition of fast, quick, and in a hurry. Suddenly, he was there.
Yeah, blink of an eye, that happened fast, and a big sack. So the defense has put them in a tough spot. It's 2nd and long. Out of the gun, here's Wilson. And he goes down, it's a sack. They get him back at his own 3-yard line. Jordan Hicks in there to pick up his 2nd sack now of the afternoon.
Now, I know we're only 2 plays in, but after giving up back-to-back sacks, something has to change with the protection, and they can't wait to halftime to make an adjustment.
Wilson of the Seahawks looking for something big following the sack. It's 3rd and long here. First carry for Thomas Rawls. And a short gain here as he gets it up only to about the 6. So Rawls appears to be shaken up. He remains down. While the trainers take a look, we'll step aside. Here's Riley Dixon now. And no room for error here as his first punt comes from deep in his own end zone. He steps into this one, and this is a rocket. And this will carry out of bounds. Where are they going to spot it now? At about the 18-yard line, it looks like. Now a play fake here on first down. He couldn't quite hold it. Got hit. Ball pops out. Incomplete. Second down following the incompletion.
Watch tight end. Watch tight end. Tight end's right. Tight end's right. All right, here we go. Boom. No. Check. Patriot. Got four. Back there. Philly. Here we go.
He'll drop to throw. Complete over the middle to Hardy. And they're able to get this one across the 35. He goes for 18 there as the drive will continue. Well, clearly one of his advantages as a passer is his height. Sit back in the pocket, fired over the middle. That makes things tougher defensively, doesn't it?
It really does, because your goal is to move the quarterback off his initial spot when he gets his drop back completed. But when you have that type of height, he can stay in there if he's willing to take the hits and just fire over the top, which saves him time and actually completes a play a little bit quicker than it normally does for a quarterback that has to slide and find open space to throw.
They'll stay on the ground, Mixon again, and he'll be brought down just shy of the 45. And they only need a little bit here. Third down and very short.
All right, here we go. Back 99 Philly. Back 99 Philly. Here we go.
The first carry now. This is Alvin Kamara. A great effort there to shed the contact, and it helps him pick up the first. Just a gain of a couple, but good enough to keep the drive rolling.
I like this focus there because he wasn't thinking about breaking that one big. All he thought about was, I need one. Let's go get that. Ended up picking up two.
Looks like the defense in press coverage here. They go play action here on first down. And the pressure will get to him. He goes down. Now there is a flag on the play, but this looks like holding on the offense. So they will take the sack instead of the penalty.
And it takes another down off the series. But the biggest one of all, do you want to tell the guy who just got the sack that it no longer counts?
No.
No, not at all.
Here's a play fake as they set up to throw. He rifles one that's intercepted. Cordray Tankersley with a pick. And to the 40-yard line, that's where the return stops. Charles, that makes now 5 interceptions and not even 5 quarters. Remember, he threw 4 picks last week.
And this turns into a tough situation because a lot of fans, the first thing is, oh, well, we need to change quarterbacks. This is your guy. This is your elite player. You can't just take him out like that. If I'm the coach, I make a little joke and say, you know some big guy? We're going to change the football. So it's obvious that's the problem. It's not you. Keep firing.
After the interception, here's Wilson. Fights off the defender. Oh, an absolutely filthy juke. He's got some space now. And he's going to go out of bounds, taking it down inside the 25. He got 18 yards out of that one, and it gets him a new set of downs. Now Wilson on first down. Baldwin with it over the middle. And they'll bring him down at the 13-yard line. Give him 9 there on the first down completion.
An ex-teammate used to tell me all the time, I hate experienced quarterbacks because no matter what, you really can't hide what you're doing. And I think that right there, he knew right away where the blitz was coming from.
And he'll take this into the end zone. Now, hold on here. We do have a flag down. So let's see what this is about.
Holding offense.
So erase the red zone score. They'll have to dial that one up again.
And you know how difficult it is to strike in the red zone because things are a little bit more condensed. You got to go back to their play chart and see if they can dial up another one.
Now Wilson on second down. Under a heavy rush, and down he goes.
Well, that was just absolute perfect man coverage. Nowhere for them to go with the football. Led to a sack. And that's really difficult to do in today's NFL with all these gazelles running around that you're trying to cover in the secondary.
On third down, Wilson. And he couldn't hang on to it through the contact. Incomplete.
This team is not going to make it easy for you. They're a physical group, and we just saw it there on that play. It came in, made the contact, just as he's trying to haul it in.
On fourth down, Kyle Shanahan will send out the field goal unit. From the left hash, it's a 42-yard attempt. And Boswell's kick is good. And the Seahawks grab a 3-0 lead. So a good kick there, and they finish off the drive with 3.
And that should be the goal for an offense. Finish each drive with points. So that's a nice job there to come away with at least something.
Oh, look at that. Oh, and now he bowls him over. And he will be brought down here at about the 17-yard line. Now we get a peek at the captain of this offense heading back out there. And he comes out on the heels of an interception he threw last time they had the ball.
Yeah, and you know, the quarterbacks that I know that are the best ones, the ones that really know how to lead their team, they tell them, that's on me. That's my bad. But let's go back out there and move ahead again, guys. We can get this done.
One good thing for them, it did only lead to 3 points and not a touchdown after that turnover.
Big thanks to the defense.
That's going to go as a loss of 4, and it'll be 2nd down.
You know what the key to a good screen pass is, don't you?
Bet you're going to tell me good blocking?
Well, good blocking eventually. But first, it's good acting. You want to let the defenders go past you, leak out to whichever side or even in the middle where you want to set up the screen, and then you do your blocking. How about the read, though, by the defensive guys? They weren't fooled at all and actually ran with the lineman to where the play was and smothered it for a loss of yardage. That would have been a great catch, but it's real difficult to hold on to it because it was contested all the way. Would have been a great play if he'd been able to haul that one in.
Here we go. Green, 39. Green. Over. Back 99, Philly. Here we go.
Off the play fake, he'll look to throw. In trouble here, and down he goes. Back at the 8-yard line.
I remember when I was a kid and all I wanted was a nickel so I could get that soda down at the fountain. And guess what? The nickel came into play well. 5 defensive backs, they covered well, allowed for the sacks.
Sodas were a nickel when you were a kid?
No, I just needed the extra nickel so I could pay the proper price.
Okay, how much were they? A dime? What were they?
15 cents.
Returnable for Lockett. They'll net only 35 here following a 43-yard field. And Seattle now ready to march out of the field. And they're not going to play this conservative, I don't think. They had the field goal last time, and they're up, but they're looking to put a drive in the end zone.
Oh, I agree with you totally. No one goes out on the field and says, all right, let's just settle.
He's got it at the 15. A gain of 32 that time.
I don't care how many times you tell the story, it never loses its luster for me. Doug Baldwin, undrafted out of Stanford, and plays like a #1 receiver should in the NFL. I don't care how you cover him. I don't care that his size is.
And no escaping this time as he'll go down. They got him for a sack. So Wilson heads for the sidelines, and they will hand things over to their backup quarterback. On play action, they'll throw. Over the middle here to Wilson. Heck of a broken tackle, but only able to work this down near the 23. And some secondary help here for the defense in the nickel on 3rd and long. They'll drop to throw. Right side catch, Gilmore. They stop him for only 3 that time, and that'll bring up 4th down.
Well, that's certainly playing down and distance very well by the defense, isn't it? Take whatever you want underneath, by all means.
Alongside my broadcast partner, Charles Davis, Brandon Gaudin hits the Seahawks with a football to begin quarter number 2. They are, however, facing a 4th down situation. And Boswell's kick is good. And that will make it 6-0. So a good snap, good hold, and that one's right down the middle.
Never in doubt. Just the way you used to hit them, Brandon.
After the successful field goal try, here's Boswell to send it away. This is taken near the 13. And a nice job there as he gets this one up just shy of the 35-yard line at the 34. Philadelphia getting set to take the field. And things haven't started so well for this side. 2 drives, 2 punts.
So now you've got to start looking not just at play calling, but which guy's going to step forward and say, okay, let's get this thing done. Because within that unit of 11, sometimes one guy can make a big-time play and break through the barrier.
That's going to go as a loss of a yard, and it'll be 2nd down.
Well, you had to punt on your first drive, and on the first play of the second drive, you end up going backwards. I would dare say they need something good to happen right here, right now.
They run it again with Kamara. Oh, he's got some breathing room. And brought down, but not before reaching the 45-yard line. 12 yards there as they move the chains.
How many times do we say in this game that speed kills, and it does it in so many different ways? In this case, you got a back who's quick and shifty, can make moves, make people miss, but also gets to and through a hole before it can close down. That's some of the benefits of that speed, not just outrunning people in the secondary. And that led to a really nice gain.
On the toss, Mixon. And no room that time, getting it to about the 46. Credit him with a 1-yard gain there to make it 2nd and 9.
Nice job by that defensive front there to hold him to a short gain on first down. Well played, I must say.
Yeah, only getting 1 yard. There was no room to run. Now they'll switch it up here and look to throw. Over the middle, complete. It's Hardy. And taking it across midfield and inside the 45. They pick up 12 on the play there, and they move the chains. And I think he's a guy, if they had let him walk, no one was going to be shouting from the top of a mountain, but he's a good guy. He's a good locker room guy, too.
Good locker room and a good player. I mean, he's a valuable starter for them, and if you just want to start over and maybe bring in someone new.
And nothing but green grass here, middle of the field. Touchdown, Philadelphia. A big play there. His 2nd touchdown on the season. And the Eagles are now just an extra point away from grabbing the lead. And on that long run, maybe the defense caught napping a little bit.
The concentration level may not have been there. I agree with you on that one, because those types of plays, when they result like that, they're almost like big bolts of lightning, aren't they? Whoosh, and off he goes.
The kickoff team on the field now as they will send this one away. And that'll carry over the back line of the end zone for a touchback. And the Seahawks get ready to trot out on the field. They've been settling quite a bit. They've been able to move the football some, but it's just been settling. That's one of the reasons they're down on the scoreboard.
I love that word you picked, settling.
Rush coming, and he's taken down. Michael Kendricks coming hard on the blitz. He dumps him for a loss of 8.
The amount of sacks that they've absorbed in this game is absolutely extraordinary. Let's just face it. This offensive line, flat out, cannot handle this pass rush. It's been demonstrated time and time again.
On 2nd down, Rawls. And they won't fare much better here as he maybe gets back to the line. No gain on the play this time, and it'll be a 3rd and long situation coming up. A well-executed blitz, no doubt. Great job by the linebacker. Maybe the quarterback, if he could have seen that, could have audibled there.
Yeah, he needed to be in a different play because that one just meshed perfectly for the defense. All the gaps were filled except for the one the offense really wanted to run through, and that was filled by a big man wanting to make a tackle.
And he made a great tackle. They do get 10 back, but still a ways to go on 4th.
One hallmark of good defenses is understanding the game, understanding positioning, and tackling immediately in the secondary after catches. I think we just saw that on display right there.
Got to him before he ever had a chance to think about turning it upfield. Just 21 yards on the punt there. And the Eagles will have it, taking over 1st and 10. Here comes Eagle offense now as they get set to take over here. And now last drive so successful with the ground game, ending in a touchdown. Do you stick with that formula?
That would be the #1 thing you would think of, but so many guys now would look at it and say, we've got them set up so well for play action, now's the time to take a shot.
Yeah.
But, you know, there was a big-time coach in the state of Ohio who once said, if you throw the ball, if you put it in the air, 3 things can happen, and 2 of them are bad. He would have kept it on the ground.
Still 1st down.
So they were looking to throw, holding on the big right tackle.
That's real simple, partner. Keep your hands inside in the chest area. You're probably okay. You get it out on the shoulders, get them wide. Usually going to pick up a holding call.
Looking to jam the receivers at the line here. Press coverage look defensively.
Here we go now. Green, Leopard, Detroit, Detroit. Leopard, Leopard, gun.
The play action fake. They'll look to throw. And this is Hurts with it, right side. And he'll be taken down at the 46-yard line. A good pickup there, 8 yards on the 1st down completion.
So much goes into a successful play, doesn't it? How about that play action there, freezing the defense just enough to bring the tight end free downfield for the completion.
Here we go now. Detroit!
They'll run it now out of the gun. Trying to find a lane, but instead he'll get back to the line of scrimmage and no more. Maybe a gain of a yard that time, but from the spot, actually no gain. So 3rd and long. And on 3rd down, a nickel formation here defensively.
Let's go! Leopard! Over! No, Jack, Patriot!
They'll set up a throw. He's going to loft one deep left side here. And that one incomplete. Had some position but couldn't hold on, and it brings up 4th down.
Brandon, it looked like he had his hands on it for a moment, but let's face it, that was going to be a tough catch all the way because of the presence of the defense right there as he was trying to haul it in.
Yeah, nice job to force the incompletion. And this is away. It's a high kick, and he got all of it. And that'll hit in the end zone. Much too much leg there. That'll be a touchback. As Seattle now ready to march out of the field. And they're coming off a 3-and-out, my friend.
I think they've got to look at that play sheet and go to a spot that they haven't gone before. Time to shake things up a little bit to try and get this offense moving.
Okay, so how do you do that? How do you shake things up?
You look at what you've called before, realize it hasn't worked
Go to
so
something
well.
else. Blitz coming, and down he goes. 2 minutes remain here in the first half. We'll come back to Philadelphia after this. A reminder coming up at halftime. Larry Ridley will join us from Orlando with our halftime report, but business to take care of before that. Now we've got whistles and movement up front. I think this is against Seattle.
False start, offense.
Not a great start to this drive. You had the sack, now the false start.
I mean, it doesn't take much to either read lips or just imagine what the head coach is saying right now. Get your head in the game, guys. Let's go.
Let's go! 3-19!
Following the penalty, it's Rawls. Showed some strong running, but quickly corralled just beyond the 10-yard line. He'll get 3, but it leaves him with a big hole here on 3rd and very long.
Well, if the coaching staff's doing a good job upstairs, they'll file away what they just saw from the defense right there. They sold out to stop that running play. I'd say keep that in mind. They want to try that again. Go play action, hit him over the top.
And he'll be taken down, losing yardage back at the 9-yard line. And now the Eagles going to signal for a timeout. It's just their first, so they'll have 2 remaining here before we get to halftime. Here's Riley Dixon now as the drive goes backwards, so he's on to punt it away. He's been a busy man here in this first half as he gets it away. Ross on the return. And just a net of 31 here, 40-yard punt, 9 on the return. And the Eagles will have great starting field position here as they take over. Joe Mixon and the rest of his offense making their way back onto the field. And he's well on his way to a 100-yard game. He's already more than halfway there. We're only in the second quarter.
And what I've always loved about running backs is they'll tell you, I had no idea how many yards I had. Right. Those guys have an innate sense of where they are in a ball game and how many yards they've accumulated, because you know they're always working towards 100.
He's been working well towards 100 here. And defensively, they were in zone coverage there. Do you have to be a little careful? You're losing playing against a good quarterback like he is to not play too much zone?
Yeah, you have to be careful about how much time you're giving up. I think it's a good point you just brought up. So maybe if you still want to play zone.
That he is into the end zone. Touchdown, Philadelphia.
And that lead is now 7 with a chance to go to 8 or more if they want to get crazy here, which we don't expect. But I just know the way the game's being played, the analytics, there's going to be a lot more of going for 2 in a lot of situations, isn't there?
Yeah, there's going to be. And now I think their focus here, they don't want to give up anything going into the lockers on the other, and just a little bit of time left on the clock.
Yeah, they don't want to do anything to erase the good feeling they have right now by getting this late score in the half.
And this will not be returnable. It's out of the back of the end zone for a touchback. Thomas Rawls getting ready to go here on offense. He's just been looking for some space. I'm not going to pin it on him or the offensive line, but they need to get this run game going better.
Sometimes you just have to credit the defense. They came in with a plan themselves. So I think now you try and mix things up a little bit. Get the ball in the hands of some other people, find some other playmakers, but always let the defense believe that he's still a threat.
I was going to say, don't forget about him.
No, don't take him totally out of the game.
He was in search of his tight end, Tyler Higbee, and that'll bring up second down.
The one thing that I've liked defensively is that they've shown him a lot of different looks here in the first half. They've come after him. They've sat back. I think that's what you need to do to keep an offense guessing.
And they certainly have kept them on their toes. That's why they haven't had much success on the scoreboard. They'll hand to Rawls. And not a whole lot doing there as he'll get it up to about the 28-yard line. And the Eagles are going to go ahead and take another timeout. So that means they're down to 1 remaining here as we head toward halftime. The Seahawks on third down. A pretty woeful 0 for 5 thus far. This is 3rd and 7. They go again with Rawls. And he's going to lose yards. They take him down at the 26. Now here's a whistle and a timeout. It's called by the receiving team here. And with halftime on the horizon, they'll be out of timeouts from here forward. And now a high kick here as they'll try to cover this one. And the Seahawks have picked it up.
I remember sitting in special teams meetings, and at some point during the meeting, the coach would always say, you better treat this one just like you're playing offense or defense. It's a big part of the game, and we just saw evidence of why right there with that fumble.
Yeah, fumble on the punt, and after it was turning up to be a pretty decent return.
Yeah, a really nice return. They were going to be set up okay, and the offense would feel good running onto the field. And now the defense has to trot out there and try and slow them down.
And taking it across midfield and inside the 45. Now the Seahawks going to use the first of their timeouts as they'll stop it with 14 seconds to go in this first half. Back to throw now on first down. They'll lock it with a grab over the middle. And he gets it inside the 35 and just shy of the 30. Now a timeout taken. Perhaps a chance for one more quick play and then another timeout if they hurry. We'll see. And this will split the uprights. It's right down the middle. And the drive will wind up yielding 3. So a field goal here. They're still down, but they put a dent into that lead before the break.
And that's got to feel good because now they've seen that they can put some more points on the board, and that gives them a whole second half to get back to where they want to be, and that's in the lead.
So we've come to halftime here and before we could even hear from Larry, we're back and ready to go in Week 5. Both teams appear ready for the fight ahead, and we resume action here in quarter number 3. Returning it, John Ross. And a good return. He's across the 35-yard line, right around the 36. Out come the Eagles now as they'll go on offense first here in the third quarter. They have the lead now. They'll be looking for some separation here as we begin the third quarter.
I like the way you term that because now I think they go a little bit deeper into their playbook. They like
pressure comes. He's taken down by the Seahawk defense. Jaron Reed never giving up. He's able to keep working and get him for a loss of 12.
Well, so much for setting the tone of the drive offensively. Giving up a big sack that loses that kind of yardage, not a great start.
Looking to throw. Got his man complete over the middle. That's Hardy. And he's able to take this one up to the 35-yard line. The Eagles on third down. Just 1 for 3 thus far. This is 3rd and 10. Back to throw here. And no escaping this time as he'll go down. They got him for a sack.
The amount of sacks that they've absorbed in this game is absolutely extraordinary. Let's just face it. This offensive line, flat out, cannot handle this pass rush. It's been demonstrated time and time again.
And he gets it away, and it's a laser. Headed for the sidelines. And out of bounds, sailed over, looked like right near the pylon. This one's going to be perfect. Directional kicking at its finest, right down at the 1-yard line. Here comes the Seahawks offensive unit. They'll have it first to begin the 3rd. They were able to get the stop defensively. Now a chance really to set the tone here in quarter 3.
They can really take charge, can't they? And this is probably how it was drawn up at the half.
Oh, and he's not going to make it out of the end zone. The push too strong, and that'll be a safety. Well, I think you can go ahead and give your punter an assist on that one. Pinned him deep, and the defense comes through with 2 points.
You're exactly right, partner. This was all set up by a great punt, and if the ball goes in the end zone, this never happens. So great call. Give the punt team and the punter some love. Now that's the kind of return you're looking for. To get to that spot on the field, that allows you to do a lot of things on offense.
Philadelphia getting set to take the field. And a tight game after punting last time. See if they can get something going on this drive.
As they head to the field now, with the game this close, you've got to feel there's a sense of urgency for them going on offense right now, where they have to do it without letting panic creep in and affect their play.
They call it a gain of 19, and it moves the chains. And a good quarterback facing zone coverage. If he has just a little bit of time to survey the scene, that's what's going to happen.
No doubt about it. If there's no pressure, he's going to continue to pick them apart because he'll have all that time to find someone open downfield. He can only cover for so long. So maybe they want to go to a zone blitz scheme, get a little bit more pressure. Remember when Carolina did that against Denver? They lost the game ultimately. They dropped the defensive end out, and he ended up with an interception in that game in Super Bowl 50. Maybe some sort of scheme like that to try and get more pressure at the passer.
Offense still needing 10 yards. 2nd down.
Single receiver. Hey, you're on an island. Detroit!
He'll look to throw. And he fires one that's intercepted. Picked off by the all-pro free safety, Earl Thomas. And the return this time will go out to the 42-yard line. Just a little bit of a rough stretch. 6 interceptions now in these last 2 weeks combined.
I know the easy thing is to go back to mechanics, footwork, things of that nature. I'm also wondering, is he getting fooled by what he's seeing on defense? Has the scouting report changed? Are they showing him things different than what he expected? For the 2nd week in a row, he's throwing it to the guys in the wrong color shirts.
Yeah, he better figure, whatever the reason is, he better figure it out. And the play goes for 19 yards, gives him a new set of downs. Right after the turnover, they come out throwing.
And that means it's a sudden change situation. We used to practice it on defense. Sudden change, get out there, stop the offense. But you typically run out there a little bit unsettled. I think that's why he came right out throwing the football, hoping to catch him off balance.
And he did. And this has been a familiar sight all afternoon as they stop him behind the line. That'll wind up going for a loss of 4. And it'll bring up a 2nd and 14.
Sometimes with the running game, you've just got to stick with it. Look, it's the 3rd quarter, no time to panic. But that also doesn't mean you just do it the same way you've been doing it the entire ball game. Maybe change up some blocking assignments or run a few different plays, but stay with the overall essence of the running game.
Call it an 8-yard pickup, and it'll be 3rd down.
But you've got to give kudos to your offensive line and the guy carrying the ball because they were in a 2nd and long situation. It seemed pretty dire, but they brought it back to 3rd and manageable with that run.
Now back to throw. It's caught. Lockett. And this play will be blown up. He'll lose yardage back at the 38. And a loss of 3 to bring up 4th.
Now, that was well defended, and as a cornerback, what you're taught when you see a wide receiver screen, either you get underneath the play before the blocking forms, or you're going to have to fight your way through it by getting through some blocking. That was a really nice play there.
And he deserves a bronze leg as he gets this one away. And that is much too long. That's into the end zone for a touchback. Here's the Philadelphia offensive unit now as they head out to take over possession. And following the interception, just any interception, are you a little bit more cautious when you start that next drive, or no, you just throw that out the window?
I think you are. I don't think that there's any way you can run back out there and go, totally didn't affect me. Let's just go ahead and be loose with the football again. You're going to take care of it, but you have to be careful about being too cautious because now you can't run any offense at all.
Still want to attack. We'll see how they attack them here.
The positioning here is key. As a defensive back, you're taught 99% of the time, make a play on the football. But in this case, making a play on the man was all the difference. That's what forced the incompletion.
All right, now look at 56. Green, this is Philly. Here we go. Detroit. Leopard.
Now he'll look to throw here on 2nd and 10. And the Seahawks defense gets to him, and they bring him down.
That's his second sack of the game, and the best defensive ends, they do their homework as much as offensive guys do. They know how to beat the offensive lineman across from them, what moves they need to do to set them up. This guy's been pretty good at it all game long.
The Eagles on 3rd down. They've only converted once in 4 tries. This is 3rd and 17. They're going to look to throw. And he's going to go down. Back at his own 5-yard line, it's a sack.
This has been a tough one for this offensive line. It appears almost like they've been on roller skates this entire game, the way they've been pushed around. 6 sacks given up in this one.
Here's Ryan Quigley now. He's been terrific so far. And he's able to get it out of there, and this is a pretty good kick. Now it's Lockett. Yeah, that's a pretty good one for the old average. 68 yards on the punt there. And it'll be Seahawk football, 1st and 10. The Seattle now ready to march out of the field. These guys had to punt their last possession, and that's become too familiar of a refrain. Too many of these drives just wound up going nowhere.
Well, you know how in baseball, when the pitcher gets a base hit and he's on base, they bring his jacket out to him to keep him warm? A lot of times the punter goes to the sideline, puts on sweatpants or a wrap over his leg to keep it warm. He might need a massage from the trainer right now from all the work he's getting.
And he goes out of bounds across the 40-yard line. 23 yards on the play. He'll look to throw. Throwing right, and that's complete. And he's going to get this all the way down inside the 35. 23 yards on the play.
There are so many things to watch for when you play defense. And reading your keys, you always hear about that, and having your eyes in the right place. Sometimes your eyes can fool you. How about that play action there? That sprang the big guy, didn't it?
Able to dump it over the top to him. Call it a gain of 4 on 1st, and that'll make it 2nd down.
I'd say they've got to find a way to get him going. He's such a big part of their offense. I wonder if they might throw it a little and come back to the run.
Anything, because you're right. He's pretty much been completely neutralized. And welcome back. We are in the city of brotherly love, Philadelphia. It's the Seahawks with possession of the football, but they do trail here to begin quarter number 4. Now they'll throw here out of the gun. Complete out right to Kurz. And he'll go down here right around the 23-yard line. They get 6 on the pickup there as the drive will continue. First down, this is Rawls. And able to get about 3 as he's taken down right at the 20.
But that call makes sense because they've been throwing it well on this drive, and once again, they show passing formation, showing the shotgun. Then they ran out of it. That's a nice play by them defensively, though, to hold it to a short game.
They'll look to throw. And that's complete to Gilmore. And he takes it down to the 10-yard line. And here comes play number 6 on this drive. They'll try to run with Rawls. And able to push his way forward here for a good little gain. A good run of 6 yards there. Gets him closer to the goal line with second down coming up.
Well, it's been the air game that's taken them down on this drive before they finally turned around and handed it off on the last play.
And now they're looking for the big boys to get him in the end zone. Couldn't do it there.
It'll be interesting to see. Offensive lines had to pass block a lot on this drive. Will they be able to revert and fire out and create some space in the run game?
Call it a gain of a yard as they get a little bit closer here. It's 3rd and goal. 2 straight shots on the ground. Now on 3rd, do you go to the air?
I think the possibility exists, and if you're doing it, you're probably going play action since you ran it twice. But I often think that second down is the time you go play action and throw the ball. I say commit to the run and think about it being 4-down territory.
This offense so far on 3rd down, as bad as you can be. 0 for 7 thus far. This is 3rd and goal.
False start, offense.
The crowd's not doing that O-line any favors.
Home field advantage is really kicking in, making it very difficult for them to hear the snap count.
The Seahawks on 3rd down, as bad as you can be. 0 for 7 thus far. They're looking at a 3rd and goal here.
Let's go! Green, 39!
They'll look to throw here. And here he'll get it down to the 7. Just a 1-yard pickup on the play, and that'll bring up 4th down. Likely the play of the game here, trailing in the final quarter and going for it on 4th and goal. As expected, they're going for it to keep the drive alive. And he's going to score. It's a Seahawk touchdown. It's their quarterback, his 2nd touchdown on the season. And the Seahawks just an extra point away from tying this thing up.
And that touchdown ends a streak, for lack of a better word, of 3 field goals that they put on the board previously. They finally cracked the code.
Yeah, they've been down there. They've been in enemy territory, as you said. They just haven't been able to punch it in until that point. So here comes the kickoff now, all even here in this 4th quarter. And this will be a touchback as that sails over the end line. And out now come the Eagles. And on the last go-around, they really couldn't get anything going.
They had to punt from deep inside their own territory, which means you're going to lose the field position battle as a general rule. What they're looking for now is a little more consistency, move the ball at least a few times on offense, get a couple of first downs, and hopefully flip the field.
Yeah, just something to build off of. That's what they're looking for here. And he'll be out of bounds up near midfield at the 49. Good yardage as he rumbles for 24 and a first. We've seen him break off a big run already in this game, and for a second, that one looked like it might be another.
Yeah, I think that any defense would say, look, we can't let him get to the second level, because sometimes he'll break off the big run on his own, but oftentimes you get additional blocking at the second level, which gets you deeper into the secondary.
And he's brought down. It's a pickup of 16 there, and it'll lead to a new set of downs.
That's another nice run, and I have to tell you, some of the coaches that I played for, their philosophies were always different when they see a guy running the ball well. Some of them wanted to immediately go to play action and throw it now because it's wide open. While other coaches said, you know something? Until they stop him, that big boy's going to keep getting the football. And that might be the direction that they're going to go right now.
And he'll be taken down at the 34. Just a yard on the pickup there, and it'll bring up a 2nd and 9.
The best defensive linemen, they play with great leverage so they can get low and not get bowled over by offensive linemen. They have excellent hands. They can throw people off on a play. We just saw a great example of a really good run stop by a guy playing the defensive tackle position.
On second down, Kamara. And he'll get this down to about the 30, 31-yard line. Only a gain of a couple there. That leaves them needing about 7 here on third down.
Looks like they're establishing a pretty good pattern here because they've been very heavy in the running game on the last 4 plays.
Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth. So far, 4 plays in this drive, all 4 on the ground. One of the bigger plays in the game thus far, and the crowd getting into it as we come up on a big third down. Here's a play fake as they set up to throw. And this is going to be intercepted. Picked off near the 26. That is now 7 interceptions between last week and this week. 3 in this game, 4 a week ago.
And I saw the head coach write on his play sheet, make a little note. I hope he's writing self-scout. Bring in the guys that scout games for you with a different eye and watch him and see what's going on, and maybe they can pick up what the flaws are, and hopefully they can correct them.
All right, here we go. Boom, landed.
They'll run it now out of the gun. And this has been a familiar sight all afternoon as they stop him behind the line. He'll wind up losing a yard on the play, and that'll bring up a 2nd and 11. They stay on the ground. Rolls again. And there just continues to be nowhere to run. He's bottled up again at the line of scrimmage. Possibly a turning point. Big play coming. This is 3rd and long. He'll drop to throw. Under pressure, and he'll go down. Sacked back at the 31. Michael Kendricks in there with pressure yet again, and that's the 7th time they've dropped him here this afternoon. Time for a break. We'll come back and see how it all shakes out after this. So it's Seahawk football as we march toward a conclusion. And they're looking at 4th down now in this tie ball game. And this is right down the middle as he puts it through. And they have taken the lead here in the final 2 minutes. Now then, it's a big kick right there to give them the lead in the 4th. But, Charles, there is still time left for a final drive.
Brandon, you know they would have liked to take the clock down just a little bit further, at least under a minute or so. But this one's not over yet, especially since they just need a field goal.
Philadelphia getting set to take the field. And 3 interceptions in this game. And I would have to think, I wasn't a quarterback, but number 4 is kind of, oh, you're like, oh, man, I can't throw 4.
No, what's interesting is, what do the coaches decide to do now? Having thrown 3, do you alter your offensive strategy? Do you take the ball out of his hands and maybe turn to the running game? Or do you have that supreme confidence he's going to turn things around?
We'll see what they do. And they're going to get this one all the way out across the 45. A nice gain of 21 yards.
That gets them the 1st down, but they've still got to move quickly here.
Some good games going on in the early window. This might be the best of the bunch. He's back to throw. And he finds his tight end. It's Ertz. 15 yards through the air on a 1st down.
Partner, you got to like what they're doing right there. Little by little, they're getting closer. Another good pickup.
Back to throw. Over the middle, that's caught by Ross. Oh, no, he lost the football. And the Seahawks have picked it up. The drive begins with a run by Rawls. And he'll fight forward to about the 27-yard line. see if they stay on the ground for second down. They go with Cunningham. And they will stop him after a fairly minimal pickup. Now a second timeout called for by the defense. That'll leave them with just one remaining in this fourth quarter of play. The Seahawks on third down. Can you believe it? 0 for 9 thus far. This will be 3rd and 5. Again, Cunningham here on the ground. And he'll slip his way up across the 30 to the 32. Now the defense will burn their 3rd and final timeout. And as the two teams talk it over on their respective sidelines, we take a break. So the defense had a chance to catch their breath, and now they're back out and ready. Here's Riley Dixon now, as they're forced to kick for the 6th time today. Now a high kick, almost a pooch punt. 49-yard punt, 5 on the return. And the offense will take over with a new set of downs. Now Philadelphia ready to get going on offense again. They only need a field goal. Obviously the clock a huge factor. They'll be watching that. What do they need to do here, Charles?
Your sequence of plays has to get you out of bounds. Completions, get out of bounds, gain some yardage. Then when the clock hits 7 seconds or left, now you get a decision. Are you in field goal range or is it Hail Mary time? Because from 7 seconds down, you don't want to take a shot that you're going to have another play.
We'll see how they handle it. Flush to his right. And that will be incomplete with a clock showing 18 seconds now to go. 2-minute drills, they're tough enough, pressure-packed enough, and these elements makes it significantly tougher.
And you don't have the margin where you can say, okay, I can allow for certain things and maybe change up a little bit. Because it's a 2-minute situation, you've got to try and make the same plays you would make if the elements didn't exist.
He'll look to throw. Now a desperation throw deep downfield. And, a crusher there as it's intercepted. Able to get there and pick it. Yet another interception, and I just had to double-check my math. But it is now 8 between last week and this week.
Well, I just used a calculator. I didn't worry about double-checking it. But the thing that always throws me when you see quarterbacks in this type of a bad spot, they're trying to figure out what they can do to change it, and sometimes they try too hard, and they never get out of it, and that's where he is right now.